As I'm recording this, Drake has just dropped The Heart Part 6, responding to Kendrick's onslaught of diss tracks. And man, what a time to be alive in hip hop. In all honesty, this is bigger than, in my opinion, Tupac and Biggie, because we're witnessing two artists in their prime of their career. They've made it past their 20s and damn near entering their 40s, and they're legends in the game. And just seeing them go one at it, or hell, even bigger than Jay-Z and Nas, because even though Nas won it, like, he wasn't as big as Jay-Z in the grand scheme of things. Of course, Nas is still a legend, but commercially. And even though Drake is the biggest commercial artist right now, Kendrick is not too far off, despite him not dropping as much. And I kind of strayed away from talking about like hip hop and stuff because I've kind of gotten a little bit too mature for some of the dialogue with like the weird, like, no homo, different things like that, where just like, yeah, I can still like make fun of it and like still talk about it, but some of it, hip hop has its maturity, and it has its great messaging in a lot of ways, but I had to go through that mumble rap era, and then with the decline in music where you got Sexy Red popping off, and even though I think she's funny, but you got Ice Spice and all these other people, it just hasn't really been that fun. But with this, which is a beef that I've been waiting for these two to go at it for a very long time, because ever since Control, I'm like, Kendrick's been throwing shots and Drake's been doing subliminals. I just want these two to finally go at it. And I've never really felt like I should talk about it as much, because even though I love hip hop and I at least know what's going on, I'm not like I'm not like an encyclopedia of it like I am with like anime, manga, comics, geek stuff, where I kind of like know that stuff like the back of my hand. With this, I'm going to forget some stuff. I'm not going to know everything. But I guess the best way I can do is just talk about what I've seen so far from this, right? And I've seen some people who are trying to act like they're unbiased, but they definitely got someone. So I'm going to tell you right now who I like more than this. I've always liked Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole, but I think I've slightly preferred Kendrick because of his consistency and just who he is as a person, even though I don't know none of these people. Literally, don't know none of them. So don't ever act like you know these people like you do. But I just like what he's portrayed himself to be more. And with Drake, I feel like I've kind of outgrown him the more I've matured. And I'm not saying it's bad to still like Drake and you're immature if you do. Just some of the stuff has kind of got repetitive. Like, I don't know how many times he keeps saying that he was trying to teach a girl how to love you, and then like, you too rich, you too bad, and you've just been talking the same ever since 2016. And that was, like, my opinion, my favorite album from Drake was If You're Reading This Is Too Late. And it doesn't really help either when the ghostwriter allegations happen right after that. So it is what it is there for me. But with Kendrick, he just been more consistent for me. And with J. Cole, I always liked J. Cole, and I think I've liked J. Cole a lot more as time went on. But this is mostly about Drake versus Kendrick, because there's going to be like a whole like the GOAT like battle cry tournament of power. But J. Cole kind of saw that this was going to go deeper than what it was. And I think what started it all really was Control. But if we're talking about what happened recently, is we got more information that first person shooter was supposed to have Kendrick, Drake, and Cole, and the reason why it didn't work out is because Kendrick and Drake, they've been sneak dissing each other for so long that Kendrick's like, yo bro, we're not cool with each other, we still got unsolved situations. So I think J. Cole trying to mention the big three, then proceeding to say that Drake and J. Cole at the Super Bowl just naturally pissed Kendrick off. And Kendrick was on Like That, which is a fire ass beat by Metro. And I'm not going to get into the whole Metro, Rick Ross, all that. I'm just going to focus mostly on Kendrick, Cole, and Drake, because those are the ones that matter to me. And, J. Cole dropped his diss 7-minute drill, and everyone was hyped. But you can just tell in the song that he doesn't feel that way. Like him saying that either to Pimp a Butterfly or Good Kid, Mad City, because people are trying to count like K Dot's like first one, like Section 80. They're trying to count that as his first major album. So who knows if he's talking about Good Kid, Mad City or The Pimp a Butterfly? None of those albums are bad. All right, they're classics in my opinion. So we just knew J. Cole was capping. I was cracking jokes, even though, because like, listen, hip hop is not for maturity. All right, like unless you go to the conscious rapping, most hip hop is not for that. This is the same era where we're talking about Tupac was talking about F Your Girl at the beginning of the track. Like this, you're not going to have a mature conversation about mental health. So I already knew he was going to get shots, but I think now people realizing how deep this is. It's funny how people are starting to forgive J. Cole now. But yeah, so we getting these back and forth between Drake and Kendrick, and not gonna lie to you, I thought Drake was kind of scared of Kendrick for how long he's been kind of like been avoiding him, because he came right out on Pusha T, and he came right out on Meek Mill, and Meek Mill he won because Meek Mill, I don't know, man. Meek Mill just knows how to follow the bag. He has the whole Ghost Rider thing and everything. Is still a loss. And with Pusha, in all honesty, I think Drake could have won that if he just didn't freeze up and go get if he didn't get like Jay Prince to kind of use him as a shield to avoid the beef. I don't know. It was weird. And I felt like he just should have focused on Kanye. He was so mad at Kanye. But Drake actually responded to like that with push-ups. And in all honesty, I really like push-ups. And as a guy whose favorite artist of all time is Michael Jackson, is when Kendrick said that Prince outlived Mike Jack, that bothered the hell out of me because I like the whole diss, but trying to compare Prince and Michael, I know some people like Prince more than Michael, and that's cool, but I don't know. But when he said that what's a Prince to a king, you a son, nigga, and it was a double entendre to damn near a triple entendre, overall, it just really, we getting old Drake back. Because that's one of the things I really didn't like about Drake for a good while. So I think Look Alive came out, where he had all these different accents, trying to be tropical, trying to be this, trying to be that, trying to be everything. But when I get rapper Drake, I like it. And I think Push-Ups is better than like that. Then Drake drops Tailor Made. And as a guy who likes to support artists, I get commissions and things like that. I've just never really been a big fan of this whole weird AI stuff, and especially a legend like Tupac. I know it was a very tactical move, and I respect tactical moves. Like he got Snoop Dogg AI, but it's just weird when you have Tupac come back from the dead, and people try to make weird false equivalents of like Mortal Man, which is my favorite song, or On To Pimp a Butterfly, and saying like, oh, that's the same thing. No, he used Tupac, who's alive, his actual interview, and just did it in a creative way, and got permission from Tupac's mom. Rest in peace to her. So I just saw a lot of weird Drake stands like trying to use that in a way. So I don't know, but that era where you had push-ups and Tailor Made, it looked like Drake actually could beat Kendrick, right? And again, I like push-ups. I like push-ups more than that, more than like that. But when Euphoria dropped, yeah, man, that one was something. All right, and I don't know, man. I like Euphoria more than push-ups. It's just so many fire bars in that track, and I'm not the biggest fan of 616 in LA, especially with Drake's recent diss, and like maybe that must have been like misinformation, talking about maybe you got a mole in your camp, and Drake is saying that no, the mole was created by me, like this weird Eisen type like information. Who knows? I think Taylor Made's definitely worse in this one, but I definitely say when Drake dropped Family Matters, I think that is extremely fire. Talk about Kendrick opened his mouth, give him a Grammy. A lot of that was great entertaining. I think he is capping with the whole Kendrick hit his wife or whatever, because I'm seeing Drake fans go to Kendrick's either fiance or wife's Instagram and try to do false parallels to her, saying that times were rough around 2022, and that's literally like almost when we start getting better with the pandemic. And then the next picture is her with Kendrick and the family. So there's a lot of reaching there. But when Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams, I think that was great. And him like talking to Adonis and things like that, like equal, like a lot of disrespect there. And then with the whole daughter thing, it's just funny that people are only paying attention to like if there's a real daughter or not, but not paying attention to like the real evidence of Drake having people in his circle who are on that weirdo stuff with underage people and or underage ladies, and then his weird relationship with Millie Bobby Brown, or him kissing a 17-year-old on stage, whatever. So that is something that Drake was like only able to respond to that. But granted, he responded to that later on with the Heart Part 6, which is hilarious that these both are still in their names. But I remember a lot of people saying that, oh, well, Kendrick is losing because he don't got anything that can play in the club. And that's when he dropped Not Like Us. And that's when you could tell he's having a little bit more fun with it. He's calling this man the 69 God, old weirdo nigga. And like, yeah, both of these niggas are hilarious. But I think Kendrick, especially with his onslaught, and especially a tactical way of dropping his music right when Drake's about to get any type of momentum, was very tactical and smart. But it's just weird, man, because I'm seeing both sides try to act like Drake and Kendrick are not dropping some heat right now. Like, I will say, though, with the Heart Part 6, I think that is probably Drake's second weakest diss next to Tailor Made. Sorry, someone's yelling outside. Yeah, I think that's the second weakest one because it just kind of redoing Family Matters with just try to make fun of Kendrick possibly being like touched when he was a kid. when that wasn't even the point of the song. Mother I Sober, that's not of it. He didn't. But how you gonna deny that you're not on that weirdo stuff and then make fun of someone who gone through the thing that you're being accused of? It's not really smart, in my opinion. But like I said before, hip hop is not really for maturity. It's just about who sounds better, who has the better narrative. So as of right now, I respect that Drake finally responded to it, but it doesn't really help that you got real evidence of you doing this stuff, while with Kendrick, people barely even know his life like that. And just using like Dave East commenting and him not following Kendrick and try to push that narrative. I just think the problem with Drake is that a lot of people don't believe what he's saying because he's been a liar a good amount, or he's able to stretch the truth pretty well. I'm not implying that Kendrick is some saint, because I'm finally glad he used the angle of Kendrick trying to defend. Well, he didn't really defend R. Kelly. He defended the fact that if you take R. Kelly's music off the platform, then you should take everyone's music off the platform, but you're not going to do that. Like, if for anyone who has a case, you should do that too. But he was just calling out the hypocrisy in that. But if you go at the angle that he's just defending R. Kelly, that's a smart move. And he should have also used the angle where he's talking about Drake is not black enough, or he pretty much is a culture vulture, so he doesn't deserve the right to say nigga. He could have used the angle that Kendrick, when he was on his damn tour, there was a white girl that he assumed wasn't going to say nigga. She said nigga. Like, there's different ways you can go about at Kendrick and making him look like that. But he's finally using like at least 1/4 of what people have been telling him to do. So overall, like me with my weird long synopsis before Kendrick drops his response, I just think this is showing how limited range Drake has, because I kind of expected everything Drake is going to say. He's going to talk about someone's girl. He's going to say that he can treat them better. He's going to imply there's something wrong with their relationship. He's going to mention that he has better money, better contracts. And that's mostly what he usually does. He did that with Meek, with Nicki. He did that with Pusha, with his wife, but that ended badly because this man went to Jay Prince to defend himself. And he's doing it with Kendrick, right? And now he's also trying to apply the kid ain't his, which is a very hard reach to go by, bruh. It's a very hard reach to go by. Well, while with Kendrick, he's very focusing on the allegations with Drake being weird, which is factual stuff. It's out there. And not to mention that homie said that he dated SZA, and he put the right time or the wrong time, but it was when SZA was 17, and SZA had to correct it and say that she was 18. So that's a decent angle to go by, especially the angle of talking about Drake in his viewership, and he wants to be perceived black while also wanting to be Jamaican and want to be all these other things. Like he has this privilege where he can just Shang Tsung his way into any type of like accent and everything like that. So that's another angle, and he's going to the hip hop realm, to the bop realm. Like, Kendrick just has a lot more in his bag than Drake does, because we already know what Drake's going to say, and not to mention just saying that he's got little feet and he's a little man, which both J. Cole and Drake try to go for that angle. So, and funny enough, even though J. Cole's on Drake's side, the main person who's been like sneak dissing J. Cole the most, low-key has been Drake, because he's mentioned Drake, he's mentioned J. Cole twice, saying that J. Cole might be scared, or he might not get no sleep, but I'm not afraid. So I don't really know, man. So far I still have Kendrick with the slight advantage. And I think it's just mostly because I just don't believe in what Drake's saying about him hitting his wife, because he doesn't really have anything to really support that. While with Drake stuff, there's plenty of it, because Drake is so in the public and his stuff is so well known. So that's how I feel about it. Let me know, because I know I have some friends who are like Drake stans, and they think whatever Drake does, he's gonna win it all. And I got a lot of people who are Kendrick fans who can't admit that Push-Ups and Family Matters is some fire stuff. I just don't really like Tailor Made. And the Heart Part 6 or Part 5, I think this is Part 6, right? Whatever you called it. I just think it's like kind of a downer in terms of like trying to go against the allegations by making fun of the same allegations that you was accused of. So it's like weird thing, and especially to misinterpret a song is not really that tactical, and trying to kind of cop a plea by saying that I don't even want to diss you no more. But it's I feel like Drake is going to pull the I won, and no matter how many disses you throw at me, I'm not going to respond angle, and I think that's kind of weak as well. But regardless, this has been great hip hop, man. For all the criticism of Kendrick not dropping as much, he's dropping more, and all the criticism about Drake's pen not being that consistent, he's been giving his best bars in a very long time. Like, again, I became like a serious Drake fan around 2016, where back-to-back dropped. It has been kind of inconsistent for a while now, where he was doing the whole Hotline Bling and all that stuff, and that was cool at the time. But when Look Alive came out and he was actually back on his rapper shit, I was back in. So let me know in the comment section down below. This is going to the second channel because, yeah, and I'm gonna have to do some weird cuts because I had to take breaks here and there. But I'm more of a fan of Kendrick, and I wish J. Cole was still in this, but I understand why J. Cole didn't want to be in this. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do y'all think about this? Random videos. I know I've been gone for a while, but Drake versus Kendrick is some funny shit. That we don't want to hear you say nigga no more. Oh my God.